Okay, it's 5:50, so we are going to start the open forum portion of our meeting tonight. Comments from visitors must be informational in nature and not exceed 5 minutes per issue. The board cannot engage in a discussion or debate in those 5 minutes, but will take the information and find answers if that is appropriate. As a part of the protocol, it is unacceptable for any speaker to slander or engage in character assassination at a public school board meeting. Our first speaker tonight is Nicole Colson. Welcome.
I don't even have to introduce myself. I'm President Nicole Colson. I'm president of the Farmington Tiger Band Booster Club. Like what I expect of many parents in this district, despite not being here tonight, I could share with you the profound and lasting impact that our band program has had on my children and my family, from those first squawking notes at the end of 4th grade to the last jazz concert of senior year. But as you consider cuts to 8th grade jazz and middle school staffing and sustaining cuts to high school band's capital outlay, I'd like to speak for students who have yet to pick up an instrument. The 1st and 2nd and 3rd graders across this district who haven't held a mallet, found middle C on the piano, or learned what an embouchure is. Coming off an isolating pandemic, it seems the way back to overall health and well-being is more access to social and emotional learning, not less. These students deserve to have the windows and doors of music education thrown wide open with the very same opportunities offered my own girls as they carved their paths through school, first at Meadowview, then Bachman and FHS. My dad was a lifelong administrator, community college president. My mom was an English teacher, my brother a middle school principal. Bless him. That always comes after the middle school principal. I spent my career in newspapers covering school boards, from my first internship on to what you might call retirement. I've seen budget cuts take a toll from all angles and know full well that public education is chronically underfunded, and legislative gridlock is a barrier. You don't consider recommendations or take these kinds of actions lightly. More than patchwork to make do, there is lasting impact on the moves you're making. And yet you have options. In light of the spark we talk so much about, the one that we hope students find in Farmington schools, let's work to strengthen and sustain access to music and the fine arts, not as an extra, but as an essential, capable of building character, defining success, and strengthening our core values. Thank you so much for your time. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
That was our only speaker this evening, so we will begin our meeting at 6 p.m.
And a church music director, and I have a passion for music education. I don't envy the board's job to reconcile a $4 million budget shortfall. However, I want to express my concern over proposed budget cuts to the band program. Evidence shows the benefits of the arts. Students who are highly engaged in instrumental music are a year ahead of their peers academically. Music education can be the very thing that improves all-around academic achievement and grades. Student mental health has suffered the past 2 years due to uncertainty and isolation, which has amplified anxiety and depression. Music ensembles offer a safe, non-judgmental space for students to express their emotions, where they're encouraged to think creatively, develop collaboration skills, and build trust. I've seen this firsthand in my own children. Some days, band rehearsal is their primary motivation to go to school. I'm specifically concerned about eliminating 8th grade jazz band, which prepares them for high school jazz band. My 7th grader has loved this opportunity the past 2 years and takes bass guitar lessons primarily for this reason. There are currently 20 8th graders registered for jazz band in the fall at Bachman. It would be disappointing if it's canceled. Farmington's music program is amazing. The Wind Ensemble was the only high school band invited to perform at the MMEA Midwinter Clinic. Jazz One was selected to perform with one of the greatest jazz saxophonists in the world, and the Tiger Marching Band won the Class AA state championship. Music and the arts are fundamental to our community. They build empathy in our society and promote problem-solving skills. I don't envy the decisions the board needs to make. Instead, I ask that you consider the broader benefit of our music education programs as you finalize the budget. Please do what you can to keep our dynamic, charismatic teachers and music ensembles. Thank you.
Thanks, Carissa.
Thanks.
Hello, I'm Leo Dennis. Holmes and Mariska always say to set yourself up for success. They have both said it so many times that I thought it was the school slogan for a while. And as for me, I'm in jazz band and varsity band at the high school. Learning all of the different percussive instruments is like learning a new language. A language of love that overrides any fear about what is coming. Getting lost in the music can distract from a bad home life or horrible things going on in the world. Without music, life would be dull. I know that I genuinely would not be here talking with you today if it wasn't for music to push me through hard times. Music teachers save lives and inspire new ones.
Thank you. Okay, it's 6:01, so we're going to call this regular meeting of the Farmington Board of Education to order. Please join us in standing for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Welcome, everyone. Chair Christensen is attending his son's choir concert, so I'll be filling in for him this evening. We have a relatively short but exciting agenda, so looking forward to getting started. Has everyone had a chance to review the agenda for this evening? Yes. Any questions or comments? If not, seeking a motion to approve the agenda.
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. Motion by Doyle, second by Carrero. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, we'll move on to good news and superintendent update.
Thank you, Vice Chair Simmons, member of the board, and members of the board, and members of the community. Kind of an exciting opening tonight. I know we shared with you a couple meetings ago that Erin Holmes was honored to be named the Schmidt Music Educator of the Year in the state of Minnesota. And we are fortunate enough tonight to have Doug Schmidt here, who is going to present her that award. So, turn it over to you, Doug.
Well, thank you, Superintendent Berg. It's my privilege to be here. Always fun to see the good work you guys are doing, as difficult as it may be at times. Thank you. So, my name is Doug Schmidt. I'm one of the fourth generation owners of Schmidt Music, and I bring you greetings from my brother Tom and me, who represent our fourth generation of family ownership dating back to 1896. We are also proud to say that we are rolling into our fifth generation with two of our sons, Peter and Ted, taking active roles in our company. I'm here with you today to do one of my favorite things, celebrating the best music teachers in the 6 states and 400 districts that we serve. So it's more than just Minnesota, it's all of our territories we cover. So we started this award back in 2015. A panel of past winners selects our new winners, 1 elementary, 1 middle school, and 1 high school teacher. We then give each winner a Schmidt Music gift card worth $2,000 as well as a dinner with several of our top brass. The prerequisites for the award are they must be actively teaching this school year, they must teach elementary, middle school, or high school music, must have a minimum of 3 years experience, and must currently be contributing to music education outside of their school district. Schmidt Music appreciates all of our music educator friends. We recognize that each one makes a monumental contribution to music education and to the lives of their students. We want to celebrate educators who go above and beyond, who contribute in and out of the classroom, who are revered by students and the community, and who deserve an ovation for their efforts. I'm here today to recognize, drum roll please, Erin Holmes! As you know, her official title is Director of Bands right here at Farmington High School as our 2022 Schmidt Music High School Music Educator of the Year. Bravo! Now, as you may know, since I stole this from your website, I'll just give you a little background. Erin launched her career back in 2000. In 2017, School Band and Orchestra magazine named her one of the nation's 50 directors who make a difference. Her favorite phrase she lives by and attempts to instill in her students is, "Every day is a good day to get better." In 2018, she was appointed as the Jazz Chair for Minnesota Music Educators Association, where she is the first woman in the organization's history to be chosen for this position. Woo-hoo! That's pretty cool. She plays alto sax in the Swing Sisterhood Big Band, which is an all-woman big band. Woo-hoo! Such fun. She's also an active director for honor bands, a clinician for music festivals, an educator for music contests, and teaches master classes all around our region. So before I go, I'd love to take this opportunity to get some pictures of the celebration. So anybody who's got a camera, I see you got one going right there, and I can maybe I'll give you my card and you can send them to me. So I'm going to give you the, first of all, the important thing, the moolah. There you go. And then I had my darling daughter help me pull this together because I wasn't aware that we had a trophy too. So you get 2, one for home and one for office. So here's a little office that just recognizes it today. There's that. Mm-hmm. And we got this super schmancy fancy trophy. Ooh. You can keep it in the. I hate to touch it because it'll get fingerprints on it.
Oh,
yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Well, thank you.
Fun. All right, so let's go over and you can get a picture and maybe get the superintendent in with you or
Sounds great.
however you want to do that. I'll grab this out of the way.
Can I take a selfie?
Make it official. You get to know it's fun. Here's it. Yeah, that's what I mean.
Oh,
Yeah,
sorry.
Perfect. Perfect.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Well, that was a fun way to celebrate good news and stuff. So again, congratulations, Erin, very well deserved. People may or may not have known, but last week, May 2nd through the 6th was Teacher Appreciation Week, and had an opportunity to be out in buildings and actually did some playground duty and some different things like that. So our staff could take advantage of some of the awesome things that our PTPs did, brought in food, different celebrations and things like that. So it was just a fun week to honor the staff that we have, the work that they've done, and just really a really cool opportunity for the partnerships to bring in those different things and stuff like that. So fun week of celebration. I shared with the board, but I think it's important to share with our community that, pre-pandemic, we'd been fortunate enough to host a number of visits around the work we've been doing around student-centered learning, and kind of shut down over the pandemic. But over the last 2 weeks, it's kind of had an uptick again as districts are reevaluating the work that they're doing. So in the last 2 weeks, we've had a group from Missouri, a group from Jamestown, North Dakota, group from Lakeville and a group from Hopkins in our district. So just kind of a fun opportunity for us to share and to learn from others around the work that they're doing. Some really cool, exciting news about some of our learners at Farmington High School. There is this program that the Minnesota Department of Education has, Bilingual SEALs. And so what that is, it is an assessment that covers the 4 domains of language: speaking, reading, listening, and writing. Students typically take it if they speak another language at home or are in our heritage Spanish class at FHS. Some of these students have attended English-speaking schools their whole lives, while others have come from another country where they've spoken that other language, and more recently come to the United States. We had 25 learners this year take that assessment, and 20 of them earned college credit. And the really cool thing is all of our 12th graders earned college credit. So we had a few kiddos that didn't, but they'll have that opportunity next year. And to put it in perspective, we only had 5 learners. Last year was our first year. We only had 5 learners take it last year. So we 5 times it, which is a good thing. And this year, there were the language of Spanish, Russian, Chinese, Amharic, which I learned today is the official language of Ethiopia, Vietnamese, and Hmong. Out of those 20 learners, they earned 51 college credits, which are good at all MnSCU schools and some other schools across the country, depending on how they take them, a little bit like AP. We had 10 learners that were proficient, so they earned 2 credits. We had 9 that received the gold certification. They earned 3 credits, and then we had 1 student that was platinum and earned 4 credits. So just another opportunity for our kids to tap into their strengths that sometimes, typical schools have kind of, pushed aside. But right, if you can speak 2 languages or more, it's a pretty cool thing. So another celebration for our FHS students. We had a number of students attend the BPA National Leadership Conference in Houston this past weekend, and they placed really, really well. So Abby Ronenbaum was 2nd place in fundamental word processing. Michael Newman was in 7th place, or finished in 7th place in C++ programming, and he also finished in 34th place in advanced counting. Hunter Stone finished in 20th place for personal finance management. Lorenzo Nord was in 10th place for payroll accounting. Elsa Edu was in 14th place in digital communication and design concepts, and 19th place in fundamental web design. And then this was kind of a cool thing too. I didn't know they could combine, but they apparently can combine with other BPA students from other districts. But Abby Ronenbaum and a BPA member from Wayzata, Jack Ross, teamed up to compete in the BPA Ethics Awareness Video Challenge and received 3rd place, and they were each awarded a $1,500 scholarship. So a really good trip for that group of students down there. Aiken Road had their science fair about 4 or 5 weeks ago, and if kids placed in a certain category in that, they had the opportunity to go on regionals, totally their own choice. They had looks like 6 learners choose to go on and take part of that regional science fair, and they either finished in 1st or 2nd place. They did an awesome job. So Roman Butterfield was in 2nd place in engineering. Easton Brett was in 1st place in family and consumer science. Nora Franzen was in 2nd place in family and consumer science. Elena Ketchner was in 1st place in physics and astronomy. Elsa Dokken was in 1st place in behavioral science. Jake Carlson was in 1st place in family and consumer science. And then they all qualified for the Achievement Award, which is the best of a best. So another opportunity for a young scientist to kind of show what they're doing out there. The Riverview Showcase is coming up here May 11th from 4:30 to 6 o'clock, and they're focusing on the work of author and illustrator Duncan Tanatiu. So they're going to build off literature, art, and social studies, going to kind of put those 3 things together, and really that focus on sharing his stories, connect students to his work, and then connect to one another. And they've had an opportunity to do several virtual visits with Duncan. So individual classrooms and grade levels have been creating projects and are going to showcase it for that opportunity. So it's kind of cool when you invite people from the outside. Now you're getting into some authentic learning, because it's not just for a teacher or somebody. You're going to show it to anybody that wants to show up. The FES, Farmington Elementary Family Fun Night, is Friday, May 20th from 4:30 to 6:30. And they got a whole slew of things, food trucks, bouncy houses, all sorts of things to kind of have a great celebration at the end of the year. Aiken Road had their 4th grade kindness retreat last week. And the cool thing about this, we've had other buildings and grade levels do kindness retreats, but I thought the focus of this was really cool. The focus was on kindness on the inside and how starting with yourself then expands out. So really kind of being kind to yourself, you know, those sorts of things, and then working with each other. So they had a great time. I know some of our board members had an opportunity at Bachman to join their Shark Tank. I spent, I think, a couple $2 billion on a few of the projects that I feel really good about. So I may not be here next year, so we'll see how that goes. No, just kidding. So that was a really cool, another authentic thing where, you know, kids had to pitch their products to, you know, some strangers that are just walking in there and try to get them to sell it and put different ads and stuff. So a neat thing to get the creative juices flowing and give them the opportunity to kind of to go ahead in front of, you know, we're between 3 to 4 sharks and see if they'll buy the money. And then also last week they had their 8th grade celebration. So again, taking some time during that school year just to celebrate kind of the end of the year. And the fun thing about that is all of the events that they had last week were created by a couple of different committees of learners. So it was all, again, student-led. So again, putting it back and giving kids the opportunity to take some ownership. And then the last thing here is, I know everybody's super excited about a legislative update, and unfortunately, nothing has really changed. We know what the House target is and the Senate target is. The good news is that they did some work around the unemployment fund. They filled that. So that is off their plate. And now both of those bills moved to conference committee, but unfortunately, until the House, Senate, and Governor get together and come to an agreement on spending targets, those conference committees aren't going to be able to do anything. So they're a little bit in waiting. We've talked about this many times. There's actually a news conference today at the state capitol, really focusing on that special ed cross subsidy. I think a lot of things can get lost in lots of different things. Do you put money on the funding formula, you know, 1-2%, and as we've shared with the board, gets eaten up pretty fast with the costs of special education and things like that. So it would be our preference for them to really take care of that commitment out there, and that would be a huge change in our district. They technically don't have to do anything this year, so they could all take their balls and go home if they want to and don't come up with anything, because it is not a budget year. They must adjourn by May 23rd, and technically they can't do anything on that day. So Sunday, May 22nd will be the big day to see what happens and stuff. So lots of fun things going on. It's hard to believe we only have 3 Fridays left in the school year. Today feels like summer. We went from winter to summer, but I know that people are starting to gear up those celebrations, those fun things that we haven't been able to do in 2 years, and really kind of bring some of that stuff back. So that is all I have tonight. So I will turn it back over to you, Vice Chair Simmons.
Great. Thanks, Superintendent Berg. Okay, let's turn it over to our student school board members for their update this evening.
Hello and good evening, everyone. My name is Michael Murphy. Kind of see it on the sign in front of me. Just for a little bit of student school board news. With AP tests last and this week, such as AP Chem, Euro, Stats, Lit, and Lang, and then a couple more that I couldn't even tell the names of, AP students are finally starting to feel the crunch of the year. However, once the tests are done, the students are receiving a nice break, and if that's the form of a movie, potluck, games, or fun projects to kind of pad out the next 2 weeks, essentially. Just this last Saturday, Prom 2022 took place. Big success. I was personally there. The venue was US Bank Stadium at the Delta Club. Just for reference, that's where the players exit out onto the field, so you got to see like their access to the locker room, which was very cool. The club was super nice. We had food and music and drink all provided. It was a very fun evening. I thought it was very fun. In more exciting news than prom, for the students, if not the parents, there's 18 days of school left. And with finals fast approaching, it's crunch time for most classes, and for some seniors, it starts to be a slide. I know some that are, in fact, have been sliding for the last trimester. And then, finally, in athletic news, the weather for this past week has been sunny and warm. I know in the last track and field meet, the first warm one of the season, almost everyone improved in their events in either distance, time, etc. Most athletic teams have been struggling by either being stuck inside or freezing outside while practicing. I wore a Hawaiian shirt because today seemed to be one of the best days to wear it, but given the rain and tornado warning we just got that's taken over the meeting, I feel like they might have been a bit presumptuous. Then I'll turn it over to Kennedy.
Hi, everyone. Last week, Farmington celebrated a week of teacher appreciation, like Mr. Berg said, but in addition to supporting our wonderful teachers at Farmington, Student Council also led some gratitude-filled activities at the high school. There was a teacher-inspired Spirit Week. The first day was to high-five a teacher. The second day was to take a selfie with the teacher. The third day was to dress up as a teacher. That one was my favorite. The fourth day was to thank a teacher. And then the fifth and final day was to make a thank you card for a teacher. Construction paper was supplied for students during their lunch hour. Hopefully all the teachers felt appreciated. And as I mentioned last week, applications for student council are open. So current 8th through 11th graders, make sure to check your Schoology. And the class of 2022 senior year is coming to a bittersweet end, kind of like Michael said. And this also means that their graduation ceremony is coming up and there will be some new voices heard. Elected by their senior class, senior Brandon Wilsack was chosen as the student speaker, and Miss Brenda Lund was chosen as the staff speaker. Grace Pagan, former student school board member, will also be speaking at the graduation ceremony as student council president. On April 30th, many choir students from across the district participated in a musical showcase called Cabaret. There was performances from solo songs to large group choreography. It was great to see all of these kids express their voices in front of a large audience. Farmington Choir also has some students that have been selected to perform in the 2022-2023 All-State Choirs. After a very competitive selection process from students all over the state, students Anthony Brunstead, Jake D. Prancrazio, Haley Fernandez, Jacob Kiagi, Brooke Muller, and Debbie Vate were all selected to participate in these exclusive performances. Congratulations, and I hope I said your name right. On Friday of last week, I was able to spend an afternoon at Dodge Middle School with Mr. Nelson, the principal. Many of the staff and students were enjoying their newly found nice weather, and they were outside. I was there to learn a lot about competency-based learning in the middle school level and how their classes operated firsthand. It's a very different experience to the one that I experienced when I was back in middle school, but it seems like a good one. Many of the processes truly engage the learner and enhances what they're already doing. Thank you.
Great. Thanks, Michael and Kennedy.
Can I ask Kennedy a quick question?
Sure.
I'd like to know what teacher you dressed up as.
I dressed up as Mr. Julian Buss. He's the AP biology teacher.
Love it.
He had a little mustache too.
And do you have pictures?
I do.
We'd have to see those after the meeting for sure.
You should give them a plug for the student council Instagram account, because then
Yes.
they get to live time,
They're
but
posting them all week, so
Yep.
make sure to follow the student council Instagram at Farmtown Studs.
Great, thank you, guys. Okay, our next item on the agenda is the consent agenda. The consent agenda is made up of routine business items that can be acted upon with one motion. If any board member wishes to discuss an item, they may request that it be pulled from the consent agenda and it will be acted upon separately. Does anyone have an item they wish to discuss from the consent agenda this evening? Nope. If not, looking for a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Carrero, second by Coletta, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay. We will move on to our administrative action then this evening. The first item under our administrative action is a resolution filling our school board vacancy by appointment. So to summarize the process that's happened to date, Board Member Saucer submitted her resignation in March. This board undertook an application process that was open to the community. We received 12 applications, which were then reduced to 4 finalists who were interviewed on May 2nd, 2022. After the conclusion of the interviews on May 2nd, this board recommended Sue Dettinger to be appointed to fill the vacancy through December 2022. So I just want to thank everyone who participated in that process, everyone at this table, and we really look forward to working with Sue. Is there a motion to adopt the resolution?
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Carrero, second by Coletta. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. The next item under administrative action is the approval of the 2022-2023 food service management contract with Jane. Hi, Jane.
Thank you. Madam Vice Chair, board members, Superintendent Berg, members of the community. The last couple of months, the Farmington Public Schools have been in the process of going through an RFP for our food service contract. And I'm here tonight to give the outcome of that RFP and award the contract starting July 1 of 22 to Chartwells. At this time, I'll take any questions you may have.
Does anyone have any questions on the food service management contract? If not, seeking a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the food service management contract to Chartwells effective July 1st, 2022 through June 30th, 2023 as presented.
Second.
Motion by Doyle, second by Coletta. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes.
Okay.
You don't have to be so gentle with the hammer.
Next item on the agenda is the approval of the 2021 to 2023 custodial contract. Presenter is Mary Ann Thomas.
Good evening, Madam Vice Chair Simmons, member of the board, and members of the community. I am pleased to present to you tonight the 21-23 contract with our custodial union group. We did reach a tentative agreement, and they voted to approve the contract on Saturday. The contract financial parameters are within the board parameters. There was a modest increase to base wages, but the primary focus of this contract was on license pay. So as our custodians obtain their initial license and then advanced boiler licenses, they get additional pay. So that was really the focus this time. And more of a carrot approach than in the past. We had a bit of a stick approach. And we also pay for our custodians to take classes, we pay for the tests, and so they really are encouraged to get those boiler licenses. We did a change to the process for uniform procurement, a little simpler process for everybody. Other than that, I have nothing else to offer, minor changes in the contract, but I'd be happy to answer any questions that you might have.
Okay, thanks, Mary Ann. Does anyone have any questions?
I have a quick question, yeah. So how long does it take for someone to get their boiler's license? What's involved in that?
Oh, I'm going to ask Mr. Miller to answer that question because he actually, when he became Director of Operations, he started studying and got his boilers test, so I'll let him answer.
Awesome, thanks.
Yes, thank you, Member Coletta. So there's a number of different licenses. So special, and then it goes to second class, first class, and chief. And those are all regulated by the state of Minnesota. So it is actually a state test that people have to go and take and pass in order to earn those licenses. To get your special license, there aren't any classes or anything like that that are required. You know, people, if they wanted to, could register, go try to take it, try to pass it. I'm not going to recommend that. It's not particularly easy. But then after your special, there are a number of time-based requirements that you have to, for example, in order to get your second class license, you have to have a signed affidavit by your chief in that particular building or your head custodian in that building indicating that you have been on staff and been monitoring the boilers or been involved in boiler management for a year. Then the next license requires 2 years, and then chief requires 3 years, and that's just kind of the time spent learning, about the actual equipment. As Ms. Thomas mentioned, we do highly encourage that people do take classes. I will be honest, it has been a bit of a challenge the last 2 years with COVID to have classes offered. Once again, that's not something that we as a district do. The union organization and or some of our technical colleges in the area offer those sorts of classes. They're starting to come back online again, so that's good to see. But like Ms. Thomas said, we do compensate, we do pay for the classes, we will pay for mileage, take the test, and then once they're licensed, there are some licensing fees and so on and so forth that are part of that as well, which we as a district believe that's important, so we take care of those as well as long as they are on staff. So I don't know, hopefully that answered the question.
Yeah, it was
Maybe.
great, thank you. And then the only question I have with that is, are we giving them incentives for each class moving up to chief? Is there a whole structure there?
Yes, yep, so there are incentives for each level of license.
Okay,
Yep, correct.
great.
Thinking about getting your boiler's license?
No. Mm-mm.
I got some study materials if you'd like, just let me know. So.
No desire for boiler's license, but thank you for offering.
Okay, any other questions on the custodial contract this evening?
Nope.
If not, would someone like to make a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the collective bargaining agreement between the International Union of Operating Engineers representing the custodial staff for the contract period July 1st, 2021 to June 30th, 2023 as presented.
Second.
Motion by Carrero, second by Doyle. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. And before we move on to board remarks, I'm just going to back up one moment to the first resolution, filling the school board vacancy. I do want to clarify some additional language for our listeners, anyone who may be listening in this evening, to clarify when the appointment shall be effective. So I'll read the full resolution this evening. Pursuant to Minnesota Statute Section 123B.09, Subdivision 5B, Sue Dettinger is hereby appointed to fill the vacancy and to serve until a successor is elected and qualified. The appointment shall be effective 30 days after the adoption of this resolution unless a valid petition to reject the appointee is filed with the school district clerk pursuant to Minnesota Statute Section 123B.09, Subdivision 5BB within that 30-day period. So welcome, Sue. Okay, that concludes our administrative action for this evening. The next item on our agenda is board remarks. And we can start with our student school board members this evening.
Well, it's only been a couple minutes. I think I'm gonna sit with where I had it.
Okay. And on a high note.
Yeah, I just want to thank you guys for making this meeting so quick. And thank you for being awesome.
Yeah, thank you guys for that. Jacqueline?
Okay. First off, it's great to hear that the students recognize teachers this week because it was Teacher Appreciation Week. So that's nice to hear. And as Jason mentioned, some of the fun things that we get to do now that kind of COVID is over, I'm looking forward to FES has their wax museums for the fourth graders on Thursday, which my oldest didn't get to do, so she's a little jealous of her sister. But I'm so excited to do go watch all of that on next Thursday, sorry, and I know they're putting a lot of work in for all of that. So, and this time of year, we're kind of wrapping things up, so good luck to all of our students on finals, and congrats to the seniors for their impending graduation. It's something as board members we look forward to, the Distinguished Scholar Banquet, all the other programs, and then obviously graduation and handing out diplomas. So I'm very much looking forward to that in a few short weeks.
Thanks, Jacqueline. Rebecca?
I would like to recognize the science fair winners from Aiken Road. They did an amazing job. Roman, Easton, Nora, Elena, Elsa, and Jake for all going to the regionals and placing. That's amazing. So good job to them. I know that our elementary schools take great pride in their science fairs and put a lot of work into it. So what a huge accomplishment for those 6 student learners. And also a huge congratulations to our band program. I mean, to have Mr. Schmidt here and offer the award to Aaron was incredible. I bought my first instrument from him. Well, not from him, but from the store. So it was just like, oh, it was just nice to put faces with names with that. And I thought he was going to say, which I hear Aaron say all the time, the band always wins. So I was like, for sure saying he's going to say the band always wins. But she's got a lot of other catchphrases that she likes to use as well. So huge congrats to her. And I know that her and Mr. Mariska are like, just superhero duos in the band room. And Leo, I just want to tell you, it used to be when I was in school that, you know, if you were in band, it's like, oh, they're in band. But I can honestly say at Farmington High School, you are a cool kid if you are in the band program. And that is honestly the truth. They have so much fun. And Chris, I can relate to what you said. Nathan takes 0-hour, jazz band, and I've never heard him once say he doesn't want to go to school. And it's the way the teachers are motivating our kids. It's, not only limited to the band program, but there are so many teachers out there that are helping our kids and getting them involved and excited about school, especially after the period of COVID and things like that. So it was great seeing Aaron recognized in the band program, but truly, thanks to all the teachers for this year, because it's been tough getting those kids back into the routines. And I also want to say, Sue, very much looking forward to having you on the board, and congratulations, and can't wait. Good things coming.
Steve?
Superintendent Berg, Michael, and Kennedy, I always look forward to what you guys have to say in the beginning of the meeting. To me, that's the best part. Speakers, thank you for coming to speak tonight. I always love when we have some, especially students, come as well to speak. Mary Ann and Jane, again, I don't think people understand the time for the food service contract or the custodian contract, so thank you. What's that?
We have to thank Dan
Oh, and
because
Dan,
he got
excuse
an
me.
assignment that Jane gave him and he took it on like a champ.
And Dan,
So-
I apologize. I can't see, my glasses are, I can't see far. So. Also, Cabaret was mentioned earlier. I went to that. That was absolutely fantastic, to your point. That was the kids did a great job on that. Also, Sue, congratulations. Welcome aboard. And again, we're here to support anything between those next 30 days. Feel free to reach out to us and let us know if you need anything. So that's all I have.
All right. Well, to echo what everyone else has said, thanks for all of the hard work that's gone into getting us to this point this year. Hard to believe we have just a few weeks left. I was really excited to be at Bachman and invited to participate in the Shark Tank. And so thanks to all of the teachers and administrators who continue to reach out to board members and extend that invitation to us. It's not often that we get to go to everything due to work schedules or young kids at home, but everything that we can, I think we get to and always really enjoy. And that was a lot of fun. Similar to Jason, I'm out a few billion, but I'm hoping next year is looking up for me. Also really looking forward to the Riverview Showcase this year. So my little guys are at Riverview and the kindergarten open house is coming up. So just super exciting to see so many community members coming back together and making those connections. Again, all of the smiles on people's faces just really lift me up personally, and I think exemplify the work that we're trying to do as a district and that all of our educators and great administrators and staff are doing. On that point, to Teachers Appreciation Week last week, thank you so much to all of our teachers and educators, as well as our PTPs who work so hard to recognize them. We're looking forward to hopefully getting out and making more connections next year through some of the work that we're doing on the board, so more to come on that. And congratulations to the seniors. This is our only meeting in May due to so many other activities that are happening. So congratulations to those seniors and to those who are incoming leadership that the student school board members identified earlier. Looking forward to getting to know more of you, and best wishes on your next adventures. That's it for board remarks this evening. The last item on our agenda is adjournment. Would anyone like to make a motion?
I'll make a motion to adjourn this meeting at 6:35 PM.
Second.
Okay, motion by Carrero, second by Doyle. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Meeting is adjourned.